Good morning. Good morning. Not for the bag holders, but good morning from Los Angeles. Welcome to Trading with Sergio. Red day today. Um, Pretty bloody, actually, but we'll have a lot to talk about. I am stepping up, creating a full position on a couple of things. I'll share my position shortly, but um, let's not sugarcoat it, right? So, for all the YOLOers, I told you so, but then I feel for you. And last week, I put out a lot of good content on the YouTube channel. I said the other side of the coin is going to be ugly. I literally warned, saying with the tickers, I warned and I said, these parabolics don't end well. They end in tears and bags. And folks, market's down 2%, if that, from the high, all-time high. Some of these stocks are down 40, 50% already. So you must understand, you cannot learn or teach experience. Having seen this movie before, multiple times, you have a reference point of what could happen. Yes, when things are going up 10, 20% a day, great. Now we're seeing the ugly side of the coin. Well, not if you're short. It is definitely, you've been warned. I mean, there was couple other people on Twitter saying the same thing when these things were flying. People posting their Robinhood accounts up 50, 80, 100% in a month. That's gone. And hopefully, they took profits because they were correct. They were correct in taking advantage of the parabolic on the way up, but on the way down, as I said it a million times on this channel, things walk up the stairs and they take the express elevator down. Big example, Beyond Meat. I was up 2:30 in the morning. Stock is 9. A stock that was basically worthless, still is worthless, fundamentally anyway. Trading at a market valuation of close to $4 billion from zero, from 3 days ago. Now, granted, fundamentals, technical analysis, all kinds of analysis is out of the window. Nobody knows where they go. Nobody knows where they stop on the way up, on the way down. You just kind of, feel for it. You develop a feel for it over 30 years. And I was short some of these names through inverse ETFs, got out too soon. I mean, made my money back. I was short a couple times. It is definitely something that folks don't pay attention to, because I really did put a great video out last week. The title was History is Important. You have to understand history. You have to know history. And the only way you know that is either you study it. Even if you're a newbie, you can study it. You can study what happens, the similarities between the dot-com bubble and what was going on with the AI power generation names such as Oklo, poster child of overvaluation, Rigetti in the computing side, or IonQ. You look, I mean, if you study history, you would figure it out. And if you were on the right side on the way up, you would have taken your profit. You wouldn't have said, when a stock goes from 50 cents to $58 in the case of Rigetti, in the case of Oklo, when it goes from $2 to $190, okay? And you're still saying, oh, it's going to 300 or it's going to 200 and whatever, you deserve what you're getting. I have zero remorse for saying these things. Am I getting hurt today? Absolutely. I'm pretty solid red. I'm not even involved in any of these things, right? But I am getting involved in some of the DATs, digital asset treasury companies, because I like buying things at a discount, and some of the ones that I follow are down to 0.85 MNAV. And I talked about that as well. I talked about that many times here. when people started drawing chopsticks on BMNR and SBET and the FTV and MicroStrategy or strategy, I go, these are fools. These people are complete and utter fools on X. And God forbid, if you're following any of these people, you're going to get hurt. I'm getting hurt by doing the right thing on top of that. I'm putting a full position on finally on SBET because we're down to 0.84 MNAV. Okay. So at least I have 15% cushion, or it's going to keep its discount to MNAV. That's multiple to net asset value or market cap to net asset value. It's going to keep that. And Ethereum is going to take a leg down, another leg down, and then BMNR is going to go to 25, and SBET's going to go to 10. That's why I put on defined risk trades, put credit spreads and buying some calls with that money that I'm receiving. Look, folks, there is many ways, many ways to play this game. There's many ways to structure trades. But before you do any of that, you must understand that the sugar high that these folks are receiving or have received last couple of months with these quantums and AI computing power generators, this is not reality. And this is not how things work. And they're experiencing the other side of the coin now. And I feel for them, but then if all of their accounts are going to be down 50% at the end of the day. And guess what? Market's only down, the index is S&P 500 is only down 2% from the high. What will happen if S&P corrects 10% now? What's going to happen to these stocks? I said that many times. If you're dealing with 3, 4, 5, 6 beta stocks, your account's going to get smashed, period. There's no ifs and buts about it. And if you're still holding, because there will be, and I said that also, there will be a time that market's not going to save your ass. Now, market will save your ass if you're in Google and NVIDIA and AMD and Amazon and Apple and whatever. But look what they're doing to Netflix today, taking it out in the back and shooting it. So Tesla earnings today, for example, we'll see what happens with that. Earnings season is upon us. Market will save your ass if you're in those names. Market will not save your ass if you're in Oklo, if you're in Rigetti, if you're in NBIS, if you're in IREN, if you're in IONQ, if you're in QBTS. Market's not going to save your ass there. Market's definitely not going to save your ass if you're in Beyond. I was up at 2:30 in the morning. I tried to short it. I even tried to short it, naked short it. But then I'm thinking, okay, it's 9. It goes to 12. I have to cover. And then the penalty for that is pretty high for naked shorting. I'm not an institution. I can't do those things. I can. I know how to do them. I know what they're doing. There's the reason stock went from 50 cents to $9 today in, pre-market is because of naked shorting, right? Here's a stock that they just issued up to 400 million shares, diluted the shareholders from 75 million shares float to 400 million shares just to pay some of the debt back and roll some of the debt forward. Stock went from $1 to 50 cents that day. And these YOLOers just got involved and they made a ton of money on the way up. 50 cents to $9 in 4 days. Hey, all power to them. The question is, did they get out? Because I'm reading some of the chat boards. They're all like, oh, it's going to 30. This is the second coming of GME. This company is worthless, folks. It was worthless 4 days ago. It's still worthless today. Now, don't come to me and say, oh, they signed a deal with Walmart, blah, 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 blah. This means nothing. Look at their earnings. It's nothing. You can put all the product on the shelf, but if you're not selling it, nobody's eating it, it's not going to make any difference. So don't get trapped in some of these things, folks. It's difficult, it's difficult. I'm telling you, I'm having a solid red day today, probably like a 4% down day with not even being involved in these names. 3-4% down day. Market's selling off, obviously. But we may have just started. What's going to happen to all these names? So, when you're buying air and the air comes out of the balloon, you got to be careful with all this stuff. So, what else is going on? Let's see. Yeah, I want actually, you know what? Let me just put the link up because there's a bunch of you watching. If anybody wants to come on, discuss something civilly, I'm all here. I'll be here probably an hour. Yeah, I'm still bullish on Ethereum. I'm still bullish on Bitcoin. I'm still bullish on Solana. But then again, and again for the billionth time, the price is the price. Don't argue with the price. The price was the price 3 days ago on all these parabolics. The price is the price. The price is what you see. And you can create all the biases. You can say, oh, this is cheap now because it went from, Oklo goes from 190 to 110. That's down 60, 70%, right? Well, it was 2. If you bought it at 2 and you're still holding, great. But now what, right? So there is a way of doing this. There is a way of not doing this. But then I have a members group. I said, no, I want to short these things and go away and come back. And of course, didn't do it because I'm involved in other stuff, not trade-wise, but other business stuff. And, I'm not at my desk, because if you're not at your desk in front of your computer doing these things, trading these things, is craziness. It's just wild. But I did say that I put that video out. Go check it out last week, right? I said, this is not normal. Stocks don't move like pork belly futures. It was happening to major names like Oracles and AMDs and things like that, which is fine. But the other ones, right? Stocks don't move like that. Momentum is a powerful thing both ways. It cuts both ways. Momentum on the way up is very powerful. Momentum on the way down is very powerful. Both ways. I don't know where it's going to stop. You can scale in, you can do this, you can do all that, but I still, what they did, for example, with Ethereum and Bitcoin and Solana yesterday, huge candle up 6-7% in a matter of an hour. They all take off. BMNR goes to 53, and now we're 48, 47, on its way to God knows where. SPET, right? Same thing. So to me, the price is the price. I'm not going to argue with the price, but at some point you have to make a stand. Okay, so that's what I'm doing with SPET. It's literally a full position, selling put credit spreads, buying some call options. I'm not buying the shares yet, but I'll probably add to it. I already am couple thousand shares. Another one, BULL. I think long term is going to be fine. I started buying yesterday, the day before yesterday. I started buying BULG, which is the 2x ETF of a bull. It's kind of making sense fundamentally. Okay, whatever. If we get in a bear market, it's not. It's going to get smashed. But then I'll take my couple $1,000 loss and get out. The important thing is to take losses when things are like this, because if you don't take losses will get worse. It's never too late to sell. My mentors used to tell me, right? And again, I'm not panicking. I'm not trying to get you guys panic. I'm not doing any of that stuff. All I'm saying is I'm just giving you some advice of what I've seen in the past and what could happen. It is unfortunate, what's going on. But then again, if your cost basis is $5 on Oklo and it's still 110, what are you worried about, right? But then why give up 80 points? And is 110 cheap? No, absolutely not, right? Why not 70? Why not 50? I mean, same thing with Rigetti. It goes from 50 cents to 58, down to 35, I think, or 34. Why not 10? It's possible. And I'm looking some of these 2x ETFs on these things that they just in time they brought them out, the long 2x ETFs. Rigetti's 2x ETF got to 500. I think it's like 175 now. How do you deal with these things? I'm not familiar with those kind of things, so I don't know. I don't know how people deal with those kind of roller coaster rides. But yeah, so we have a deadline coming up, as we know, right? November 1, China deal. If the market's going to sell off, do we double top here? I'll go through some charts and talk to you guys about it. But I'm committed. I think ETH or Ethereum is going to be higher. I'm putting on some positions for next January. And it doesn't matter, though. If ETH keeps going down, position is going to get hurt. There's no ifs and buts about it. I'm putting some positions on Solana 2x ETF. Position is going to get hurt. If it's going down, it's going to get hurt. Even if you do, defined risk downside trades like put credit spreads and things like that. At least your max loss when you put the trade on. Okay. So if you're putting on SBET, I'm putting on 15, 12.5 per credit spread. Stock is like 13.20. I'm putting them on a 150, 160 range. Okay. Well, I'm already taking in 150, so another $1 loss potentially by January. If it's above 15, I keep the money, and then with that money, I'm buying some calls. Okay. I mean, but still, if the stock goes down, right, you're going to get the max loss on the put side, and your calls are going to disappear. Period. So I'm putting a directional bet on. So all these things are lessons, and even with that, having a red day today doesn't feel good. But then we're not in it. I'm not in it for today. I'm not in it for tomorrow. I'm in it for longer term, and keep my head above water on tough days. And then don't get too high with new account all-time highs, and don't get too low with drawdowns. Otherwise, you're going to end up in the insane asylum. It just doesn't work that way. So let's take care of some business. Good morning. Welcome to Trading with Sergio. Every Monday, Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Power Hour every Friday. So I'll see you guys every Friday. For my members who are here, I will see you guys at 4:30 p.m. Pacific. We got lots to talk about. They're learning. Like, for example, I tried to buy 300-400 puts on Beyond because I couldn't short the damn thing. I could naked short it, but then if I get busted, because I think I probably have a couple of flags like that already at Schwab, and they'll just probably, ding my account again. Then I have to negotiate. Oh, please, allow me to trade again, and this and that. But naked shorting is something that happens. Every institution, every hedge fund does it, but then they have different connections. With retail accounts, it's really difficult to do that. So I went and bought some lottery puts, like going out to November expiration. I bought $1 puts at like 9-10 cents. They expire worthless. But then they'll probably double if the stock gets back to $1.50, which I think it will. I don't think it's worth the paper it's printed on. I mean, you folks need to understand these things, Plus the short squeeze GME. I'm like, no, it's nothing like that. But then reality kicked in, and now stock, last time before I came on, stock was at 3. So what happened this morning if you just bought that thing at 9, 8, 7, 6, 5? Well, what are you going to do now? Are you going to pray that the market comes back and save your ass again, just like it happened in April? Is that what's going to happen? Another V bottom, and then these things take off and go to the moon again? I don't think so. But I think there's going to be a rally in these because they have to stick it to retail a little bit more, because now it's like a falling knife, right? And then you don't get in it. But I think the play here now is allow them to bounce a little bit, these, quantum names, AI power names, things like that. And then, the retail will get suckered in again for sure. They'll make it look like, oh yeah, we're just bottom. We're going right back up to new highs. And I'm like, nope, that's not going to happen. But now on the way up, maybe technicals will come into play, right? Now you can play with your chopsticks and Fibonacci's and 50% corrections and moving averages and whatever you want to do with these things. But, reality is reality, man. These things end badly. I have not seen a parabolic that has ended with smiles. I would say all parabolics that I've seen in my past 30 years have ended in tears and bags. So, in fact, I put a video out, don't be holding the bag. It was 10 days ago, literally 10 days when they were all going up, new highs. I, in fact, got some hate, actually, because I were like, oh, this, oh, that. I'm like, hey, man, I have my opinion. You have your opinion. One of us is going to be right eventually. Anyway, so let's see what's going on. Good morning to everyone. I put the link up. Oh, one other thing, please. Do me a favor. Please put a thumbs up for this one. Number 2, I launched my... So I personally think financial literacy is absolutely lacking in this country, or we're way behind in financial literacy. It starts from elementary school all the way to college. Not that college is worth it these days, but there's no reason for people not to understand how finance works. And I'm not talking high finance. I'm not talking private equity or hedge fund or this or that. Basic stuff. Dollar cost averaging, power of compounding, rule of 72, simple things, right? We could teach these things. We could teach these to our kids. This should be the talk. This should be the talk at our dinner tables, if we're having dinner with the family still, or with your friends when you go out. Should not be talk about some video you watched on TikTok or some influencer telling you to buy this, to buy that garbage. Okay. It should be financial literacy. And if you want to help me in this, because I just launched my website after a couple of months of putting it together, I think it came out great. www.sergioavidian.com. Let me put that up. Now, I'm not selling anything. I don't want your name. I don't want your phone number, unlike most people. Here's the website. I would urge all of you, there it is. I would urge all of you to go check it out. There is a free newsletter that comes with it. If you do subscribe to the newsletter, there's a blue subscribe button. Click subscribe, and then just put your email in, and every Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific, you will get a newsletter. So the first two went out already. The one that went out actually on Monday was about the power of compounding. And I'm going to start with simple things, but there's going to be something for everyone in these newsletters. And you will be able to contact me through the website, obviously, directly. And there's going to be something for everyone. But I want to improve financial literacy in this country. If we're able to teach our kids about sex education, and which is necessary, middle school, as early as middle school or before, we should be able to teach them and talk to them about finance. We should be able to talk to them. And again, I'm not against debt. I'm not in the Dave Ramsey group. I'm for debt, and but then manageable debt. Not carrying credit card balances and things like that. What the pitfalls are. But then, the article that came out on Monday, it's on the blog. There's a blog as well. There's 6 articles already in there. And every Monday one will go out. It'll be on the blog. Go check it out. How many of you know that at what age Warren Buffett made his billions? What do you guys think? He started investing at 12 years old. When did his money start absolutely exploding? Obviously with the right decisions, buy and hold, that kind of thing. But, it started at 60. He was 60 when the money power of compounding took off on him. Okay. So there is no wrong time to invest. You have to invest. You invest $5, $10 a day, $100 a month, whatever you can do. You have to invest. There's so many easy tools these days. Robinhood, open a Robinhood account, open a Schwab account, or dollar cost average into an index. If you're not able to sit here and trade, you must do that. We all have to teach our kids, our relatives, our loved ones, our friends to invest. This is the greatest economy on the planet. Yes, it has some holes in it. I get it. We may be going in a slowdown, recession, whatever, but then time will pass. I'm not, huge fan of passive investing, because I basically think, but the last 2-3 years, you would have made, you would have gone way ahead, right? But with what the government is doing, debasing the currency, devaluing the dollar, you're losing about 10% buying power every year. Okay, the $100 that you had nominally still says 100, but it's not worth 100. It's probably worth 60 in the last 5 years. So you experienced this, right? Because you go out there, buy some stuff, compared last year, the year before, you're paying a lot more, right? Well, some people call that inflation, right? Okay, cool. And the government says inflation is 2.5%. It is not 2.5%. That's a lie. But government's good at lying. I mean, look at the government, how dysfunctional these people are. There's still, we're still out. But then is the country functioning perfectly fine? I think it is. So it's been like 2 weeks now, 3 weeks. I'm not missing any of these people in Washington. So those are the people who take your dollars, tax dollars, and frivolously spend it, and then borrow another $2.5 trillion and spend that one as well. So it comes with a broken fiscal policy, and then broken monetary policy follows broken fiscal policy. That's what we have in this country. And then who gets hurt, though? The rich? No. And I'm a capitalist, by the way. And like, the rich have every right to do what they're doing. And but I want to make folks understand that they are in charge of their financial future. Nobody else is. Government's not going to come to save you. Unless you have rich parents, they're not going to come to save you. You're going to work a job all your life, grind and die. I don't want you to do that. I want you to be in the top 5%, in the top 10%. And that's the only way that's going to happen is by investing. Yes, market goes down, market goes up. We're not talking trading. Trading is something different. Investing, you need to invest just to keep pace, just to keep your head above water, because your paycheck that you get from your W-2 is not going to keep pace with inflation. It's not. Don't listen to these dumb shits out there that go like, oh, personal income has gone up in this country. Yeah, but so is the loss of value of my dollar and buying power. We're basically, just rowing against the current. It's just, in order to get ahead or just at least keep pace with it, we need to invest in hard assets. You're going to say, oh, but look at Sergio, look what happened to gold. Yeah, what happened to gold? Okay, 10% correction, 15% correction. Big effing deal. What happened to crypto? Oh, what happened to crypto? 10% correction. Okay, awesome. Is the market going to correct? Okay, let it correct. But you must learn how to invest. And in order for me to do that, I started the website. Just go subscribe to the newsletter. You'll enjoy it. It's not long. I know people's attention spans are pretty short these days. It's about, probably 3-minute read. Every Monday, you'll get it in your mailbox. And I would urge you to help me out with this project and forward it to some people that you love, that that you care, and that they need financial guidance. And again, this is none of this financial trading or investment advice. It's just knowledge that's lacking, that is stopping the middle class, or if there is a middle class these days, to move on, to move up. The only way that's going to happen is by investing. And there are so many tools these days. You don't need an advisor anymore. You don't need you don't need any of that. Self-directed investment. Just learn, educate yourself. In fact, I will, promo this video. I did a video with Lindsay Stamp, who's, who has a nice X following. She was gracious enough to join me for an interview. I would urge you to follow, her on X, but, when the video comes out, I'll post it. And I'll talk about it on Friday. It's going to come out at noon on Friday, right after Power Hour. What a fascinating young lady, right? She's in her early 30s, but she has a W-2. She's been stacking. She dollar cost average into Bitcoin every day, and her calling is Bitcoin. Okay, great. But you must do something. You must invest in hard assets. You must. Let it be stocks, let it be gold, let it be, crypto, not the shit coins. Okay, maybe Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, that's about it. But you have to find something that you really understand. But in order for you to understand, you have to be educated about it. You have to have the right information. Because I'm on Twitter. I have a decent following on Twitter. I'll just go look at them. Because all these people are just, all they're doing is posting their $1 million Robinhood accounts that has gone up 80% in a month. Where are you now? What happened last Friday when the crypto crashed, that mini crash, right? They all go like, oh, I blew my account. I blew $1 million. I'm like, yeah, I don't feel for you. Good. You have another 30 years to do it, to get it back. That's what happens when you're going after the quick dollars, because this is, a lot of people treat this as like short-term gratification, adrenaline rush, and stuff like. Even if you're trading, you don't have to do those things. In fact, I have a video coming out at noon today after this. It's talking about the best trades you do are the trades that you don't do. That comes from trading, not investing. Investing, you just got to drip, 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 drip. You just got to invest. Have an investment account, have a trading account. I'm not telling you not to play. Go ahead and play, because you will have things like Bynd that goes from 50 cents to $9. In what world? Where are you going to get? What are you talking about? Somebody who bought 1,000 shares of, Bynd at buck, forget, after it doubled first. And let's say you didn't get out, you just traded during market hours. Today's high on Bynd, I think, was like close to $8 in open market, right? I mean, that's like 1,000 turns into 8,000 in 3 days. Where are you going to get that? Does it happen often? Well, look what's happening to all these other stocks. Look, there is something that's happening every day. If you want to play, go ahead and play. Make sure it's money you can afford to blow up and lose, and that you're not going to cry over it. It's not your rent money, because I feel like there are a lot of people out there with the lack of history, no experience. They've only experienced up markets, right? They started investing during the pandemic, right? Sitting at home on their ass, flipping options on a Robinhood account. Great. Cool. I hope you kept the money, because there is the ugly side of the coin. There's the other side of the coin that we may get shortly. I mean, I can't be bearish on the indexes, but look at the stocks. Look at the underlyings that all these people are involved in. That's going to get them to promised land. Well, when your index is down 2% from the highs and your stock that you hold, all of them, I can give you a million names. I'll go through some of them, actually, the Oclos and Rigetti's and IONQs and Quantum, QBTS and many names, ASTS and things like that, right? When they correct 40% already, 50% already, while the market's down 2%, what is going to happen? What is going to happen to that stock if the market indexes or the S&P 500 corrects 10%, 20%? They're going to go the other way? No. What's going to happen is they're going to get smashed. They're going to basically go back to where they were. And again, I think all I'm saying is be careful out there. It's a tough year this year. It really is for me. I'm still plenty green, but it's a tough year. I have a members group, and then I know they're getting frustrated. We're missing some of these nosebleeds, but I'm told them I can't participate in this. I have two choices: either go with it, knowing that overnight this momentum will end and I'm going to hold the bag, or go with it, put some tight stops, and then if you lose a couple grand, $5,000, whatever your account can handle, just get the heck out. But don't hold the bag, or let him run short. That's more my style. But then I shorted a couple, 3 times. One time I made money. Second time I got my face ripped off. Third time I made money. But to someone in the chat today said, we should have shorted all of these things. Yeah, shoulda, woulda, coulda. That's why I should have bought Beyond 10,000, 20,000 shares of Beyond. Shoulda, woulda, coulda doesn't get you anywhere. You got to do the trade. You got to pull the trigger. Anyway, all I'm saying is be careful out there, folks. Go study history. There is always similarities between what's going on in history and what could happen again. Again, I'm not bearish on the market. I can't be. We're at 2% from all-time highs. But you could be bearish on the underlying. And I'm going to, do a shout out to Jem Carson, who is Kai Volatility. He said something, and I watched one of his videos, and he's brilliant man, CBOE market maker. And he said, all the index puts that you buy to hedge is not going to help you because the underlying is going to wipe you out, right? Convexity. And he was like, I would urge you to go watch him. He's brilliant. He understands volatility. And sure enough, if you bought index puts the last couple of days, you're probably breaking even or maybe a little ahead or losing money. If you, all your underlyings though, right, are down 40, 50% already. If you're holding those, imagine holding those long, and then you also have index puts. It's horrible. But he was right, hedging is not going to get you anywhere. And a lot of institutions do hedge through the indexes and compressed volatility, right? But then volatility, sure enough, exists on other stuff. And you got to pay attention to all this stuff. And I don't know. So one last thing. As I said, I have a members group. If you want to join, become a member, click join. In fact, you could be joining in time for you to join us today at the members only live at 4:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. That's once a week. You get that live stream. You get my live trades immediately. Again, none of this is trading, financial, or investment advice. Not that my live trades have been any good, honestly. So, but again, you don't have to do what I'm doing. What I do is risky. My account can't handle it. I know when to cut loose, take my loss. And sometimes I take a loss, it turns around, goes the other way. But then at least I don't have to deal with it day after day after day. And yeah, join and send me an email, Sergio@sergioavadian.com. I will send you the Telegram chat group link. So with that said, let's see what the market is. Here we go. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, nothing good. Solid red day. Oh, not that one. Apologies. Okay, so SPX is selling off a little bit today. Definitely getting hurt for sure, but we'll see. Yeah, just like I said, SPY literally is down 1.5% from the high. Okay, that's SPY. Actually, let's go to the big chart. Actually, let's go to the positions. I have on ASST, I have call debit spread going out the next January 2027. There you go. I started buying BULG, 2X ETF of Bull, BULL. I figured, okay, the lockup is done, traded 300 million shares. Everybody who needs to get out got out probably. Okay, why not? Just buy the 2X ETF. Well, no. Average cost 3,500 shares. Average cost 733. We're down to 670. Okay, so a couple $1,000 loss, $1,800. Okay, well, I'll probably take that and get the heck out of Dodge. Here's Beyond Meat. I'm long 175 of the November. This is the lotto ticket. I paid 11, 12 cents or 13 cents for them. Stock is actually holding still at 380. They're about 10, 11 cents because the market maker is digging around with the implied volatility on that. The only good trade I did this morning, I tried to do many more lots, but of course, market makers didn't give it to me. At the open today, I sold some put credit spreads expiring on Friday on NUGT, right? NUGT was 190, got down to 127 today. So I put in 125, 120 put credit spread, sorry. At $1.60, they're going to hit the wall, I'm pretty sure. By Friday, it's 133 now. Here's the big position that I'm almost at a full position here now, so I'm not going to keep pressing it. It's going against me. So SBET is SharpLink Gaming. This is an ETH DAT, the Digital Asset Treasury Company. I love the management. I think they're probably the best management out there when it comes to a DAT, and they're doing the right things. They're staking their ETH. They're getting tons of ETH, right? I mean, they can use that for a lot of things, but then we're down to 0.84 MNAV. So I trade these things on MNAV. When it gets down to 0.84, about that kind of discount, I'll push. So what do we have? I'm short 75 put credit spread. Stock is 1307, by the way. I'm long 2,000 shares at 17. Figured that out. I am short put credit spreads 15, 12 and a halves at $50, $60 range. I'm not going to add any more, but I've started buying calls. So I am also long January 2026 $15 calls. I started buying them. My cost is 3. They're down to about 220. So 75 put credit spreads. I probably will get out of the stock, to be honest with you guys, and take my loss there and keep the option position open. Last but not least, I'm into 2X ETF of Solana. This was very profitable yesterday, not today, obviously. I have a call debit spread, 20 30s, 20 long 20s, short 30s for November. I'll probably close the short side if they suck a little bit more, but then at the moment, no, I'm just holding the way they are. And these are the positions. By the way, I post all my positions on the community page of the YouTube channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And, feel free to go check it out. Again, none of this is trading or financial advice or investment advice. What I do is very risky. If you're going to follow me, follow at your own risk. So let's look at what are we looking at? Let's look at some charts. I don't know. Probably. Oh, well, yeah, let's go to the big charts. So this is the SPY. Okay, so we double topped. Is it? I'm going to take the 50 EMA out. There's bearish divergences happening. It's been happening on MACD for a while now. Be careful, folks. I may even actually just liquidate some stuff, take some losses, and then keep my powder dry. But yeah, we're rolling over. Triple Q is actually rolling over a lot harder than SPX today. Again, same look, right? I don't like drawing lines on my charts, so just naked charts are the best. I have a 20, 50, and 200 EMA. That's that. VIX got up to almost 30 and then vicious pullback to literally 17, and today we're revisiting. Be careful here, folks. I don't like what I'm seeing here. So Ethereum is selling off. I mean, that's the Ethereum ETF. IBIT is the BlackRock I mean, iShares Bitcoin ETF. So, I mean, they look like they're rolling over as well. So a lot of things, a lot of cross currents here. So let's talk a little bit about the nosebleeds. How about that? Okay, so let's start with Oklo at the 50 EMA now, down to 114. Is it going to hold the 50 EMA? I'm not sure. It doesn't look like it to me. This thing was 193 5 days ago, folks. We're down to 115. So yeah, is there a lot more room on the downside? Yeah, potentially. Here's the 2x ETF of Oklo, right? 55. It was 170. How do you deal with that? I'm not sure. Here's Rigetti. That I bought the 2x inverse ETF on that, and I was short the stock. RGTZ is the symbol. Got out way too soon. We're about 20. I think I paid for like 8.5, 9 for it, and I got out about 12.5, 13, as you guys can see with the labels. And yeah, last sale was at 13. We're at 20. Yeah, it just sometimes you get out too soon, but then profits are profits. Okay. IONQ is another one. Nosebleed. Look at that thing. That thing was 84. We're at 52. 30 points. 40%. How do you deal with that? I don't know. I have no idea. And this is a 2x ETF. 208. We're 76. How does anybody deal with any of this stuff? I don't know. I'm not familiar with this. So it's Beyond. The company that's not worth the paper it's printed on. Look at this thing. 50 cents to, today's market high was 769, but in pre-market it hit 9. Okay, here's the other thing. This is what kind of casino we're dealing with here. Even with the new shares that they issued, okay, but the float's still 75 million, but then they issued shares to their bondholders because they had 1.2 billion in debt. No joke. Company's worthless. Company was worthless 4 days ago. That's when it gapped down from, here, right here, about, let's see, no, right here, from about $1.92 to 50 cents. And because they issued all those shares, they issued 400 million shares, right? The complete dilution, right? Because most people don't even understand that common stock is worthless, by the way, right? Bondholders come first. That's the part of the education process too. I mean, you need to understand who comes first, who comes second. Bondholders first, preferred stockholders next. If they have it on their charter. Common is last. But this thing, again, 75 million float. Yesterday, it traded over 2 billion shares. Talk about power of the algos, right? And today, it's going to be about another 2 billion shares. Where are all these shares coming from? Well, yesterday was all the naked shorts, keep shorting and covering, and that's why it went up. Same thing is happening today. So it's incredible. How can a stock with 70? Okay, let's consider 400 million shares. The whole float is changing hands 5x. And those 400 million shares, I know they're not available to be traded. The ones that they issued to the bondholders. It's incredible. What's going on is just incredible. The stocks, these movements, So, let's take a look at a couple more. IREN, still, look at that chart. I think it was 10. Went to 75. ASTS. All these stocks, where does it end? Okay, 102.80. We're down to 66, 40%. Oklo, 40%. Rigetti. Okay, here's Rigetti. Look at that thing. 58 high. We're down to 34. Okay. QBTS. All these poster children. 47 high, down to 26. Okay. How do you deal with that stuff? I don't know. I mean, are you guys all going to hold and say market's going to save my ass? But then what's happening today is some big names are getting cracked, right? Palantir finally breaking out of the channel that it's been going sideways. Kind of looks like it's rolling over. So that's why I'm saying be careful here, folks. I may just sell my losers and just clean up and go all cash and maybe even short the futures. Here's Robinhood under the 50-day for the first time. 153 down to 122. We haven't even sold off yet, okay? We're only down 2% from the high. So consider all of this with a 2% sell-off. We haven't done much damage yet on the indexes because there are some things in the indexes that are holding the shit together, and S&P just made a lower low. So, yeah, I will probably clean up some stuff and then No need to be a hero. Take my loss. The $2,000 loss is better than a $20,000 loss, folks. Trust me. Because, again, some of these folks are, again, math challenged. NBIS is another one, right? The people love these names. Or what was it? Was it NBIS? Yeah, that's the 2-minute. Well, let's see the daily. You know, I mean, yeah, it's coming down. But hey, this thing was 65, went to 140. It's still 96. Why is it still expensive in my book anyway? All of these things are still expensive as far as fundamentally anyway. But then, you know, who am I? IONQ, right? Okay. It went through a 50-day like hot knife through butter. Okay. So I'm pretty sure at some point they'll rally these things, just get suck more of them in. And then the final knife in the chest will come in on all of these things. Again, I'm trying to be rude for people who are holding the bag in these things, but you get in another one. NVTS makes a new all-time high yesterday, not a 52-week high yesterday, and then absolutely getting smashed. Open door, another favorite on X, now under 50 MA, just breaking down. Again, this thing was 50 cents, went to 10, and people go, it's going to 82. Okay, great. Good luck. TLT. Actually, that's the only thing that's green now. It's kind of actually showing that, you know, flight to quality trade is happening there. Bonds, interest rates are coming down. And then a lot of people said, oh, Fed's going to cut the rates, market's going to melt up. Not sure. Why is the Fed cutting rates? I'm not sure. And then what's happening in the overnight repo markets, if you guys follow a little deeper into these things, there are some weird signals out there. Gold, parabolic, right? Pullback. Okay. The only good thing I did today was NUGT trade. Well, no, it's expiring Friday, so still not a good thing. We don't know where it's going to end up. This is the 2x ETF of Solana, which I have called debit spread zone, and this is SBAT, right? Here's SBAT, 1311. And here's BMNR, where all the people were drawing chopsticks, down to 47. You got to follow MNAV. MNAV on BMNR is still with a premium. I don't know why this deserves a premium. If you guys can explain it to me, I'll be more than willing to listen. Yes, there should be a Tom Lee premium, maybe, you know. But look what's happening to MSTR strategy, right? 2.2 MNAV down to 1.1 MNAV now. Last time Bitcoin was 110,000. This thing was 540. Today, Bitcoin is 110,000. We're down to 280. That's called MNAV getting crushed. So the ones I'm getting in, like SBAT, it's already 0.84. Now, two things are going to happen. Either SBAT, well, I'm not expecting MNAV to go back over 1. But what I'm expecting is, at least I'm not going to get the crush or the double whammy with MNAV getting crushed on if they were selling at a premium. I don't think any of them are selling at a premium except BMNR and MSTR, and they're shrinking. BMNR is definitely shrinking today. So my point in all this is follow MNAV, trade. Yeah, you're going to lose money. If Ethereum goes down, you're going to lose money. It does not matter what happens to, you know, a lot of brilliant folks on X are saying, oh, BMNR is going to 80. I'm like, BMNR is not going anywhere, man. Just because Tom Lee's in there, don't buy BMNR because Tom Lee's doing it. Buy it because you understand the goddamn thing. Okay? Because I get just so frustrated seeing all these YOLOers and incorrect assessments these people make. And the worst thing is they do technical analysis on BMNR. How can you do technical analysis on BMNR? It's not an NVIDIA. It doesn't have earnings. It doesn't have top line, bottom line, free cash flow, none of that stuff. BMNR is the tail. ETH is the dog. If BMNR is going to move, ETH has to move up or down. If ETH goes down, BMNR is going to go down. If ETH goes up, BMNR is going to go up. But you just can't just single it out and say, oh, BMNR is going to 80. I mean, it's not going anywhere. ETH goes to 6,000, yeah, it'll go to 80. But if it doesn't, ETH goes to 3,000, what's going to happen to BMNR? It's going to be 30 or lower. So people have to understand these things. And this is what frustrates me when it comes to finance and these FinTwits and these jackasses on all over YouTube and you know, X. They go like, it's just wrong. Stop saying shit that you don't even understand. And I'm like, there was one guy I didn't want to get into. He has 350,000 followers on X, and he drew lines. He goes, "Oh, the Williams the indicator is looking bullish." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about, bro? You can't put indicators on these things. You can't put indicator on BMNR. You just can't. It's moving with ETH. Now accept that fact and go maybe do technical analysis on ETH. That okay? We can talk. We can have a conversation there." But don't just say BMNR is bullish on its own, because BMNR is the tail. Unless the tail is going to wag the dog, which I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, good luck. So what else is going on? I don't know. Yeah, those are some of the nosebleeds. What's going on with the nosebleeds? I mean, again, like Oklo. Okay, what do you buy that thing? Do you even buy that thing? Because it's down to the 50 EMA. I can read charts as well as anyone on the planet. Okay, we have some support at 108. Okay, down 50%, let's say. We give it a crack at 108. They'll bounce it maybe to the 20 EMA, to 140, and then roll it over again. Potentially, that's what's going to happen. Because look, these types of moves, up or down, right? Well, here's a perfect example, by the way, of the stocks walking up the stairs and taking the express elevator down. So the breakout day on this was 107, right? Broke out, retested. Okay. So that day, it took Oklo to go from, again, super fast. It took Oklo to go from 109. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 19 days to go 109 to 193. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Today's the 5th day. So that's the express elevator down. And where does the express elevator stop? On the lower Bollinger Band at 97, maybe? Potentially? I don't know. I don't know where it's going to end up. But there will be a rally in these, without a question. There'll be a counter trend rally because the trend is down now. There's no ifs and buts about it. There'll be a rally, counter trend rally, and then suck more people in, and then we'll see where they go. Unfortunate, but that's what's going to happen, I believe. That's what my crystal ball is saying. Bynd. If Bynd does not do a share offering here, the management is dumber than shit, I think. Because company F4 is worth $2 billion. It was worth 0 4 days ago. So I don't know. But I'm not advising them. So they should do a secondary and raise more cash, just like GME did. Where's GME, by the way, these days? Oh, it's back to 22. Okay. And where's AMC these days? Oh, okay. Would you have made money? Of course. All they did is just sold their shit stocks to the retail. That's all they did. Secondary after secondary, issuing after issuing shares. That's what's happening. But then some people listen, some people don't. Yeah, I'm long 2,000 shares of SBAG at 17. Stock is freaking 13. Take my $8,000 loss, get out. At least I have the option position and just stay with that. Because at some point, you got to take losses. You just cannot just go, be stubborn about it. And then you're going to say, oh, yeah, but it's long term. You get out, it'll go back up. Yeah, okay, let it go back up. But then there's also the other side of the, potential downside, right? So to me, it's like your downside is 0. I mean, is it going to go to 0? Obviously not. But there's always a big but. And that's why I stepped up today and created, a full position now, at 0.85, 0.84 MNAV. These are easy things, by the way. DFDV, SBET, BMNR doesn't have it, MSTR, MetaPlanet, they all created these dashboards, live dashboards. So I urge you to go check them out. They give you live MNAV. I used to do it on a spreadsheet myself. They saved me from a lot of work, and they created these dashboards, and go check them out. Do a search on Google saying SBET MNAV, and you'll see it's 0.84. I'll take 0.84. So 0.84 is basically buying the Ethereum that they have in their hands at a 16% discount. And they just bought more Ethereum, and some institution actually bought 5 million shares from them at $17 a share. Stock is 13. And they did a call option on it for another 75 million. But that 75 million, they came and bought Ethereum yesterday. Okay, they're staking it. In less than 3 months, they're up to close to 6,000 ETH, right? By staking it, it's giving them some sort of yield, maybe 3.5%. again, they're doing the right things, but then it depends on Ethereum price. If Ethereum is not going to go up, this is not going to go up. If Ethereum is going to go down, it's definitely going to go lower. At least my put credit spreads are defined risk, but then my calls will go down, stock is going down. So, there's losses, man. Losses are losses. You cannot just sugarcoat things. Luckily, if you're making money on some of the longs, you'll survive. Or you're short other things, right? Anyway, so I'll go to the front, answer some questions, and then go have a cup of coffee. So that's where we are. I'll post these positions for you guys on the community page of the YouTube channel. And yeah, 733 down to 660, down 2,100 from 2 days to now, 3,500 shares. And I didn't buy aggressively. I bought what I can handle. No. Okay, well, you gotta take losses, man. You gotta take losses. Because if you don't take losses, the losses will get larger. And then not only suck energy out of you, because your eye will be continuously on it, right? You'll be like, okay. So we'll add to SOLT at some point. In fact, we'll add a little bit now. Buy a few more calls. Oh, of course, they make it your bid. God damn it. When I put an order in and the market maker doesn't immediately give it to me, I cancel it. I'm not going to mess with you. I'm definitely not going to mess with the market maker. Excuse my voice. On wild days, market makers have a tendency of not executing trades. I was a market maker, so I know how we do it. We widen the spreads. We don't want any executions. We don't want to take the other side of the trade, obviously. We just don't want trades. And that's how you stop people from trading. You just widen the spread on the options, and then that's what you do. So I'll put my order in at 185. I'll buy 5 more calls. These are the November 20 calls on SOLT. On SBET, I think I'm full. Full meaning like my tummy is full. The put credit spreads, do I put another 5 on? I mean, I probably should sell the stock and then just keep the put credit spreads and calls. That's what I should do probably. With a 1 day rally, maybe a solid rally 1 day, and then just take a less loss as opposed to a chunk of loss. We'll see. I mean, if it wasn't 0.85, I'd be selling it. If I own BMNR, I'd be selling it because that thing is going down to 1 MNAV. All the people who go like, oh, it deserves a premium. Because of what? Why does it deserve a premium? Why? Oh, they're going to stake it yet. Okay, why aren't they doing it? SBAT's doing it, and it's 0.85. Why is SBAT at 0.85? As good a management as you can find, and then MNAV is 0.85. They have no debt. They haven't issued convertibles. They haven't done anything wrong, and they're getting punished because MNAV is getting crushed. What institutions are doing is they're buying the underlying and shorting all of these debts, period. And they're benefiting when the price of Ethereum stays the same, but MNAV goes from MNAV on SBAT was 1.7 about 3 months ago. Now we're down to 0.85, and that's why the stock is at 13 as opposed to 25. But then people are just like, oh, this is what's going to happen. I'm like, no, pay attention. What you think is going to happen, most likely is not going to happen. Yeah, that's where we are, folks. So I'll go to the front, answer some questions if you have questions. All right, maybe logos. Okay, just don't spam the fucking board, bro. Don't spam the fucking board. All right. Hope your index is doing better than the S&P. Well, S&P is doing fine. It's down not even 1%. And every other stock that these YOLOers have are down 40% already. I don't have an index. Sean, I agree with you. Hopefully it's about literacy. ROFL. Okay. Sergio, spot on. A lot of furus. Yeah. I have no idea, man. Nobody knows what the market's going to do. You know, if you know what the market's going to do, you're doing all these chopsticks and doing all kinds of bullshit. Chopsticks tell you what happened from the past. Chopsticks technical analysis, by the way. I like technical analysis, but it tells me what happened in the past. There's no guarantee that's going to repeat in the future. Did technical analysis tell you that Oklo was going to come down 80 points in 4 days? No. Okay. I guess. These fools, bro. They haven't seen a bear market. All they have seen is the Japanese. Well, they saw the pandemic, right? It just sold off, a V bottom, came back. Japanese yen crisis, carry trade last year, August, V bottom. April, liberation crisis, tariff musical chairs, 25% V bottom. What happened to all these stocks? To Palantirs, to Hoods, to SoFis, to all these decent stocks, right? Nvidias, and what happened to them? They got cut 50%. Those are the good names. So, but nobody knows. Trend is your friend. Yeah, when the trend starts, I guess you just kind of, then maybe technical analysis will help you. Then maybe, moving averages will help you. Then maybe VWAPs will help you if you're day trading or kind of swing trading. But nobody knows what the heck's going to happen. If anybody says, I know what's going to happen tomorrow, I want to talk to you. I really do. I'm very interested. I'll give you all my money. All of it. For you to manage. Doesn't work like that. I don't know what the fuck this is, but this guy is like spamming the board. Maybe Lacoste. Okay, well, I don't want to check any of that garbage. It's probably garbage. It's a crypto project. Yeah, good luck. Go buy Bitcoin, buddy. Yeah, go buy Bitcoin or Ethereum. Doug says, can a company do a secondary on the fly? Absolutely. Well, no. What they have to do is they have to have a shelf, right? Most of them have shelves. This shelf meaning that's on the shelf. They put it on the shelf, and then when it's necessary, they can do a secondary. So they announce a shelf offering. Shelf meaning like time to time they're going to do it, or they can do ATM sales, at the market sales, things like that. But if you don't have a shelf, no. But you can do a secondary, put a secondary quickly together, very quickly. There's plenty of institutions willing to help you with a secondary, because when you're doing a secondary, retail is buying some, but then most institutions are going to buy that, right? Well, you have to find some dumb money to buy your 0 shares if you're in the case of Beyond. So, well, dumb money is sure out there, right? Okay. Well, dumb money was the one that made the money. Hopefully, they bought it at 50, 60 cents, $1, $1.50, $2, right? Still double. Hey, 3 days double. In what world? Manny P, good morning. Anyway, so that's where we are today. Tough day, but then, seen the movie before, we'll survive. So thank you for watching. Trading with Sergio every Monday, Wednesday. I'll post the positions at the end of today on the community page. I think I'm the only person running everything with full transparency. Wins, losses, gains. I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to prove. You don't like it, tough shit. Move on. But I do lose money here and there. And I've been losing money actually today. And if you are following some furu, by the way, okay, here's the last word to the furus on Twitter. They all praise about selling options, right? Okay. Oh, cash secure puts on NBIS, cash secure puts on this, cash secure puts on that. Okay, Oklo was 190. You sold a weekly cash secure put at 150. Weekly. You just cash grab, I mean, 190, 150, you probably took in $1 or $2. Okay, we're at 110. That put you sold for $2 is 40 now. Now what are you going to do? Mr. Cash Secured Put? I don't know. People talk about selling puts and calls like, oh, it's wonderful. You can never lose money. Yeah, you're in a bull market for 3 fucking years that everything goes up, every dip gets bought. Yeah, you can sell cash secured puts. Yeah, sell the puts now. Let me see. Sell the puts now. Because now all you have to do, you're 30 in the money like this. Okay? Now you have to roll. Now you have to play the rolling game. Now you're stuck. kick the can down the road. You have to go out a year probably for you to roll properly, or you're going to bet that you're going to get assigned. You have a 30-point loss, and then you're going to sell some calls. You're going to do some wheeling shit. Okay, and you're going to hope that the market comes, saves you again. These things work in certain market conditions. Or cover calls. Okay, awesome. You bought Oklo at 150, you went to 190, you sold the 190 calls at $10. Okay, great. How much protection did that give you? Stock is down 80 points. Now what? Yeah, selling calls is like picking up pennies in front of a bulldozer. Literally. There's time for everything. And the time now is be really, really cautious. As we start selling off here on the indexes, these things are going to get cut in half again. And that's how the market is there. The market makes everybody wrong, or tries to anyway. Or you take your loss and get the heck out. Go away. If you bought Oklo at $2, $10, $20, you're still 5x. I'm saying Oklo because that's like the poster child. Quantums are not worth. Oklo at least has something, But anyway, the point is, still up 5x. Take your 5x and go away. Because the 5x may not be there in a month or two. But people are just so committed to their opinions that, yeah, Oklo is the future of AI power generation. NBIS is the future. IREN is the future. I'm just going to hold. In fact, there was a Twitter account that bought ASTS at like, I don't know, $1 or $2 or $3, right? A couple 100,000 shares. I think in 90, he was saying like it's going to 200. By the way, all these companies I'm mentioning, most of them, some of the quantums don't even have revenue. So I can kind of make sense of it. I go like, what are we pricing these things for? We're pricing these things for Mars and back. Forget perfection plus. Mars and back. I'm like, okay, when you put a 30 billion market cap on a quantum computing stock with 10 million in sales, I can even quantify that. I can even put a price to sales on that thing. I mean, I can do it on Palantir. It's like a 250, let's say. Price to sales, not earnings. These things don't even have earnings. And then today, one of my members posted an article talking about Oklo not even having revenue. Well, I said that on this channel, on this live stream 3 days ago. They don't have a pot to piss in. There's no revenue. I don't even know how to quantify the price at 190, 25 billion market cap. How? Okay, now 80 points lower is 15 billion market cap. Is it reasonable? What future earnings, what future revenue am I supposed to figure these things to make to justify the price that I'm seeing? Again, you have two choices. You trade, you sit. Best trades you make are the trades you don't make. You need to learn how to sit. You don't have to be involved every day. But then when you do get to a point, you commit. You go like, okay, like I'm doing with SPET. I'm doing with, Bull. Okay, commit. And then you could still be wrong, which I'm wrong on SPET to the tune of 3.5, 4 points already. Okay, but you commit. And then you go, okay, I had enough. Right? It's not worth the drawdown, extra drawdown. And last but not least, folks, when your account experiences drawdown because you have all these, nosebleeds in your account's down probably 40% already. You do realize that your account has to go up 80% now for you to just get back to where you were, right? Right? That's math. So a lot of people go, oh yeah, my account's down 40, 50%. Okay, cool. Your account goes back up 50%, you're not going to get back to anywhere. You're not even going to get to even. Another math problem these people have is like, yeah, my account's down 50%, but it'll go up 100%. Oh, it goes up 100% from where it is. You're just going to go back to where you were. Is it worth this? Is it worth doing this? The heart attack city? Not for me, not at this age, not at this time of my life. I'll play, I'll trade, I'll take losses, I'll take gains. I'll try to the quadruple, quintuple X of the underlying benchmark. That's all I'm trying to do. I got nothing to prove, but I'm just trying to give you folks some advice who have not seen what could happen. And what could happen is not funny and it's ugly. And You know, every time market came back and saved your ass, I don't know if this time is going to do it or not, but I wouldn't count on it, you know, because market came back and saved everyone for 3 years in a row. One time is not going to do it. But then we're so used to just taking it easy. It'll be okay. It'll go back up. I'm like, no, you'll be poor. And then you have such wonderful gains. Take your gains, man. Go away for a month or two. Do a vacation. Do something else. You don't have to be involved every single day. And that's the key, right? Anyway, so join me on Friday for Power Hour. And my members will join me at 4:30 p.m. Pacific today. Please go check out the website, free newsletter. Help me with financial literacy in this country. Because I think the information that, finance is difficult. Finance could be complicated. And most importantly, finance is boring, right? So, but then let's make it fun. Let's make kids get into finance, understand investing. Because the sooner they start, the better off they're going to be later on. Because government's not going to save your ass. Your parents are not going to save your ass unless they're super rich or rich. You have to take care of yourself. So if you start at 10, 11, 12, understanding, investing, all these things, it's just create an addiction out of that. Create an addiction out of dumping $5 into a Robinhood account when you're 12 years old that your dad or mom opened for you and buy in the stock or do whatever you need to do. That money will grow. So help me, please help me by just forwarding the newsletter. It's a free newsletter. There's going to be some other stuff. There's going to be webinars coming on. We're always going to add to the website, but help me, pass the word around. Help me spread the word around, because we need to do that. In this country, we need to do that. What the government's doing to everyone, again, I'm not a huge fan of the government, as you guys can tell, irregardless of who's in the White House, because they both do the same thing, right? They both spend, print, spend, and look where we are. So get the picture, folks. Investing is the only way that you can keep ahead of this bullshit that they're pulling on you. So to me, it's like, spread the word. You have to start somewhere. So I don't want to go on and on. Good luck if you're holding some of these bags. God help you. I'm holding a bag, and I thought I was being smart. Think about it. So, but see you all on Friday for Power Hour, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see where the market's by Friday. So have a great day. Stay healthy, and see you guys Friday.